Hello and welcome back to George Washington News.
A lot has happened since the last episode. We'll cover Caroline Levitt and Erica Kirk's appearance at GW, the ongoing war in Iran, and the Oscars.
We will also hear from our weatherman Andrew Rooney, cover DC's new curfew laws, and so much more.
Our lifestyle correspondents Matt and Victoria will talk about springtime activities to do in the district. Without further ado, let's get right into it.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Avanti Patwardhan.
And I'm Brady Wilson. The annual White House Easter egg roll took place on April 6th as President Donald Trump invited Americans onto the south lawn of the White House to participate in Easter-themed games. The event included an egg race, an AI creation station, and themed mini-golf. While all events had corporate sponsors, including Meta, Google, and Coca-Cola, excess profits will go to the nonprofit White House Historical Association. Flanked by the Easter Bunny, Trump also took the opportunity to field questions from reporters about the Iran war and rescues of an F-15 pilot from Iran, saying, quote, "I don't think it gets much more hostile than Iran."
Trump's war in Iran has quickly escalated, resulting in dozens dead, rising oil prices, and uncertainty about where things will go from here. Eric Goldberg has the story.
On February 28th, Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei was killed after Israeli missiles with U.S. support struck Tehran. Since then, the U.S. has been embroiled in a war with Iran that has involved thousands of deaths and weeks of fighting. The U.S. and Israel are primarily targeting Iran's nuclear program, with President Trump saying repeatedly that Iran, quote, cannot have a nuclear weapon. But even from the first missile fired, the war has been controversial. Trump did not obtain congressional approval for the strikes prior to their launch, leading to several congressional leaders and think tanks to call his strikes illegal and unconstitutional. The U.S. allegedly hit an Iranian girls' school with a Tomahawk missile, killing at least 165 civilians. According to NPR, if the U.S. is found at fault for the killings, it would rank among the military's most deadly incidents involving civilians in decades. After the strikes, Ali Khamenei's son, Mojtaba Khamenei, took over as supreme leader of Iran. However, he has not appeared publicly since his appointment as supreme leader, sparking rumors that he may be incapacitated or badly wounded. Trump has stirred this controversy, saying that, quote, we don't know if he's living, though messages attributed to Khamenei have been disseminated. No accompanying audio or video of the leader himself have been released alongside them.
They're saying that he lost his leg, one leg, and he's been hurt very badly. Other people are saying he's dead. Nobody's saying he's 100% healthy. We don't know, Peter, if he's dead or not.
Now that you've announced...
I will say this, nobody's seen him, which is unusual.
The biggest economic impacts of the war are felt in the Strait of Hormuz. The strait connects the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman, being responsible for carrying 20% of the world's oil and liquefied natural gas exports. In response to the war, Iran has effectively blockaded the entire waterway, launching bombs at ships that attempt to cross. According to Reuters, this has increased the price of oil to almost $100 per barrel, an increase of 70% this year. This blockade has devastating consequences for countries across the world's superpowers, like the U.S. and China, have seen gas prices skyrocket, and Gulf states surrounding the strait have lost access to a critical waterway used for transport. In March, Trump called for NATO allies to restore access to the strait, a proposal that was met with little enthusiasm as European leaders hesitated to become involved in a war that they did not start. Trump's rhetoric on the strait's closure has been inconsistent after calling for allies to provide military backup to open the strait. He then shifted his stance and said, quote, we don't need any help, actually. His solutions to the strait have seemingly changed by the hour, insisting that the waterway will, quote, open itself, while later reversing his stance and threatening to target Iranian power plants.
Well, we don't need too much help, and we don't need any help, actually.
As of March 23rd, Trump has reportedly begun developing peace talks with Iran in an attempt to end the closure of the strait and develop peace in the region. According to CBS News, he said he would, quote, unleash hell if no peace deal was reached. As of March 26th, Iran has rejected Trump's latest peace deal, leading to Trump to consider putting U.S. troops on the ground. This story is rapidly changing, and GWN will keep you updated as new developments arise. For GWN, I'm Eric Goldberg.
Thanks, Eric. As an update to this story, President Trump has given a final deadline of 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday, April 7th for Iran to make a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. According to CBS, Trump indicated that he, quote, will not give Iran more time to make a deal, end quote. Iran has called upon their citizens to form human shields around the country's power plants, as President Trump reportedly plans to strike them. According to retired Lieutenant Colonel Rachel Van Landingham, this would constitute a war crime since it would indiscriminately target civilian infrastructure.
When Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt and Turning Point CEO Erica Kirk came to speak to GW this month, GWN got an inside look. Raina Pulaski has the story.
I'm here outside of Listener Auditorium where Turning Point Foggy Bottom is hosting a talk with Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt and Turning Point CEO Erica Kirk.
Turning Point is a non-profit organization that focuses on advocating for conservative politics on college campuses. It was founded by Charlie Kirk, who was shot and killed at a Turning Point event at Utah Valley University in September of 2025. I asked one Turning Point volunteer why he chose to be at the event.
All right, so why are you here today?
I'm here volunteering for Turning Point USA. Unfortunately, we saw what happened to Charlie Kirk when he was brutally assassinated. So I'm here sort of helping the cause, helping advance the name of conservatism in the United States.
Inside Listener, the audience was packed with both GW students and young people from the greater DMV area. Before Kirk and Leavitt took the stage, Brian Van Slingerland, a GW student and Turning Point Foggy Bottom president, gave a speech on the importance of conservatives raising their voice and encouraged audience members to join Turning Point.
We want you with us. The chapter here at GW, we're building something real on this campus for people who are engaged, who are thinking, who actually care about what's going on, not just here in our little GW bubble, but across America, around the world.
Erica Kirk and Caroline Leavitt then took the stage. Kirk interviewed Leavitt on topics like her personal relationship with the president, her balance of her family and her career, and about legacy media outlets like the New York Times and the Washington Post, which they refer to as the, quote, fake news media, end quote. Leavitt also emphasized her belief that young conservatives need to make their political opinions known on college campuses, even if they aren't popular.
As a conservative on a college campus today in America, you will be the ideological minority. It's just a fact, but we're changing that. I think we're changing that in a big way, thanks to Charlie and everything that you guys are doing.
Many GW students, like GW Rage, criticized the university for permitting Turning Point Foggy Bottom to use Listener Auditorium. Since they are not a GW student org, the university is not required to host events for them. Rage said in their Instagram that they are, quote, appalled that GW is allowing a group that is, quote, known to pursue an agenda that harms marginalized students to speak on campus, end quote, and called for a total boycott of the event. Regardless, the event gathered a mostly filled auditorium, and GW officials, including Interim Provost John Latch and Dean of Students Colette Coleman, were also in attendance, according to the Hatchet. Turning Point Foggy Bottom has yet to announce another event, and it is unclear whether the university will continue to be gracious with a non-official student organization despite student protests.
With GWN, I'm Raina Pulaski.
Thanks, Raina. A United States Air Force pilot who was shot down in Iran was rescued and brought back early Sunday morning. The F-15 carrying 2 officers was shot down in the southwest of Iran, marking the first time the Iran war that the U.S. military aircraft was downed. While one officer was rescued immediately, the other spent more than 24 hours avoiding capture before activating an emergency beacon, allowing military personnel to locate and rescue him. "We got him," President wrote on Truth Social. He sustained injuries, but he will be just fine.
On April 6th, Nikita Walker was found guilty of 3 counts of involuntary manslaughter after she crashed into a Lyft vehicle at 100 miles per hour, killing 3 people. Walker was accused of driving while drunk and had previously been convicted of driving under the influence 3 separate times. The crash occurred in March 2023 after Walker sped away from a traffic stop near the Kennedy Center. She faces potentially up to 90 years in prison.
As March came to a close, so did this year's award season. Grace Eagleton gives us the highlights and recap of this past year's top movies.
One exciting event that takes our attention away from politics is held all the way in Hollywood, California, the Oscars. Held this past March, the Academy Awards symbolized the end of award season. Let's recap what movies brought in big awards, the big races, and what the audience thought of this season. Biggest movie of this year was Ryan Coogler's horror film Sinners, released April 18th, 2025. Sinners quickly became the blockbuster of the summer and the fan favorite into award season. According to its IMDb, it won over 326 awards and had over 488 nominations. The biggest awards it won in the Academy Awards were Best Actor in a Leading Role, Original Score, Cinematography, and Best Original Screenplay. One Battle After Another was by highly recognized director and writer Paul Thomas Anderson, director of Punch Drunk Love and Licorice Pizza. One Battle After Another was the biggest contender of the year, with it winning 280 awards and receiving 493 nominations, according to its IMDb. The biggest awards it won in the Academy Awards are Best Picture, Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Actor in a Supporting Role, among others. They were also the first ever winners of the new award, Best Casting. Hamnet, a film by previous Best Director winner Chloe Zhao, had the biggest sweep of this season with the Best Actress Award. Jessie Buckley won the biggest awards for her leading role in the film: Golden Globe, BAFTA Award, Actor Award, and Academy Award for Best Actress. Hamnet also had a couple of surprises, with it winning Best Picture at the Golden Globes and BAFTAs. Other films that received various nominations and won some awards were Frankenstein, Sentimental Value, and The Secret Agent. Frankenstein won most of the costume, production, and set awards. Jacob Elordi also had some momentum early in the season for Best Supporting Actor, as he won the Critics' Choice Award and was nominated for a Golden Globe, BAFTA, and Academy Award. Sentimental Value was the biggest contender for Best Foreign Film, with it winning the Academy Award and Stellan Skarsgård winning Best Supporting Actor at the Golden Globes. The Secret Agent was also a big contender for Best International Film, as it was nominated for the Best International Feature in the Academy Awards. Wagner Moura was also nominated for Best Actor for his role in this film, and won the Golden Globe for Best Actor in a Drama Motion Picture. That's it for the 2025-2026 awards season. For GWN, I'm Grace Eagleton.
Thanks, Grace. We'll be back in just a moment with more headlines, updates from lifestyle correspondents Matt and Victoria, and the weather. Don't touch that dial.
Team after an abysmal year with the Flyers. Andrei Svechnikov makes his return this season.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, GW, and welcome back to the final weather segment of the year. My name is Andrew Rooney. We've got a lot to talk about today, so let's get right into it. It seems like DC couldn't decide whether it wanted to be hot or cold this week. Temperatures climbed into the 80s earlier this week, but will dip below freezing on Tuesday night. The cherry blossoms bloomed on time this year, but were immediately followed by a frigid wind chill. Puxatawny Phil seemed to mostly be correct in his prediction of 6 extra weeks of winter, at least for the northeast United States. While summer may seem like it's a long way off, longtime DC residents know that intense humidity is just around the corner. DC's famously unbearable summers can be blamed on the Potomac River and the Atlantic Ocean. Humidity is caused by water vapor evaporating from large bodies of water, and being surrounded by 2 of them can put a lot of moisture into the air. Our urban environment doesn't help either, as concrete and asphalt are both very effective at slowly radiating absorbed heat and making summer feel even more muggy. The solution? Take advantage of air conditioning and drink plenty of water. For our weekly forecast, temperatures will hover around the 50-degree mark. Tomorrow we'll have a high of 56 degrees and a low of 36 degrees. Thursday we'll have a high of 62 degrees and a low of 44 degrees. But at least we should be in for a pleasant weekend. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday's highs will hit 77, 71, and 69 degrees respectively. Warm enough for a picnic on the National Mall. That's all I have for you today. Good luck with finals, and thanks for a fantastic semester. Back to you, Avanti and Brady.
It's been such nice weather.
It has been. I personally am enjoying this week of like slightly cooler weather.
I agree.
Just because I don't do well in the heat, I don't do well with the humidity, and we know that DC gets so humid during the summers.
Yes, and this weather, there's been a lot of weather changes. It's not great for allergy season. I know a lot of people have heard a lot of coughing, a lot of sneezing. If you hear it from me, I apologize. My allergies are kicking in right now, but it's worth it to sacrifice having allergies for the nice sunny weather outside in DC.
I do agree, but that has been like the only kind of like drawback of the warm weather for me as well. My pollen allergies through the roof. I don't know when allergy season is supposed to end. I'm guessing
Hope soon.
End of April, but I guess until then we're gonna hang tight.
Yes, April showers bring May flowers.
Bring May flowers.
Yes.
May will be good, and then we're gonna look forward to the warm weather.
Yes.
Awesome. Alrighty. Thanks, Andrew. On April 1st, NASA launched Artemis 2, a crewed mission intended to fly by and take pictures of the moon. 4 astronauts took a 9-day long trip around the far side of the moon, spotting parts of the moon's surface that have never before been seen by humans. The historic flight broke the previous record set by Apollo 13 for the farthest distance away from Earth, reaching more than 252,000 miles from our planet. According to NBC, the crew is expected to land safely back on Earth in the Pacific Ocean on Friday, April 10th.
On April 3rd, University President Ellen Granberg announced in an email that Dr. Edward J. Belizen will serve as the new provost and executive vice president for academic affairs starting July 1st. The current interim provost is John Locke, who previously served as the dean of the School of Engineering and Applied Science. According to the email, Belizen currently serves as the senior vice provost for interdisciplinary programs at initiatives at Duke University and has been at Duke for over 25 years.
This Easter weekend, MPD enacted curfew zones across the district in an attempt to limit youth gatherings. 8 people were later arrested for breaking the curfew. Nicole Akumite has the story.
Youth in D.C. noticed a major difference in their outings this Easter weekend. Over the holiday weekend, the Metropolitan Police Department enacted 5 new curfew zones in an effort to reduce youth-related violent incidents. Youth advocates tell me curfews alone are not enough. The zones covered Navy Yard, Chinatown, the waterfront, the U Street corridor, and Banneker neighborhood. All 5 areas were under curfew from 8 to 11 p.m. on Friday, April 3rd, Saturday, April 4th, and Sunday, April 5th. Both zones were active from 8 to 11 p.m. this past Saturday and Sunday. They come on top of the citywide juvenile curfew that requires anyone under 18 to be indoors from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. daily. MPD said in a statement, quote, "Our aim isn't to arrest young people. We want to engage them, encourage voluntary compliance, and connect families with support," end quote. That Halloween incident in Navy Yard prompted the D.C. Council to authorize a citywide emergency curfew to designate additional zones as needed. The curfew zone applies to anyone under 18, with exceptions for teens traveling to or from work, supervised activities, or those accompanied by a parent or guardian. Youth advocates say the curfews do not address the underlying reasons teens gather late at night.
What this is young people are choosing to gather. The district no longer has like affordable, free places for young people to go.
Groups like DC Action that work with at-risk youth point to limited evening programs, inconsistent access to safe spaces, and unstable home environments as bigger drivers of teens' behavior. Some also worry curfew zones are heavily placed in Black and brown neighborhoods, raising fairness concerns.
It also creates more interactions between young Black and brown young people and law enforcement that creates its own set of problems and trauma. And then it's clearly another pipeline to...
D.C. City Council postponed the original vote on whether to extend D.C.'s emergency curfew authorization to April 21st, which is 6 days after the current authorization expires on April 15th. Police say curfews are one tool in a broader youth safety strategy. Advocacy groups say long-term investment in youth programs is the real solution. For now, the curfew zones remain active across the city. Officials and youth advocates agree they want safer spaces for teens, even if they differ on how to get there. In Washington, I'm Nicole Kumite.
Up next, our lifestyle correspondents Matt and Victoria are here to rank the best items to carry with you in springtime. Take it away, Matt.
Hey guys, I'm Matt.
Hi everyone, I'm Victoria.
And welcome back to yet another and last of the year lifestyle segment. We've got some great news for you guys today.
It's finally officially springtime in Washington, D.C., and that means just one thing.
Happy cherry blossom season. Though they might mostly be dead by now, that doesn't mean our streets are.
The crowds and tourists are already headed into D.C. for cherry blossoms, and it's truly the best time to be in the city with everyone outside enjoying the warm weather. Plus, your Instagram feed can't miss the cherry blossoms.
You know, I will say, I was feeling kind of rough earlier this semester with that snowy gloom, especially being from SoCal. You know, it's hard to stay positive when the ground is covered with that icy snowcrete. But now, absolutely killer.
For real. Honestly, the weather has changed everything. Suddenly, campus feels so lively and everyone's happy again. And at the same time, I hate to be the one to break it to you guys, but final season is creeping up on us. But that also means summer's right around the corner, so try your best not to stress too much.
And you'll definitely find it hard to be stressed at a Nationals baseball game. Though that is a bit of a lie. They're not looking great this year, or any year, really. But either way, make your way down to the ballpark down in Navy Yard to cheer on our hometown team.
Now, if baseball isn't really your sport, be sure to check out the DC Emancipation Day Parade and concert on April 16th for some live music, delicious food, and vibrant cultural events honoring African American history.
Now, on April 24th through the 26th, Georgetown is turning into a full-fledged French market. Streets are going to be lined with stalls and cafes, as stores and galleries are going to give you some pretty incredible discounts. Show up for an incredible Parisian experience.
The Sakura Matsuri Japanese Street Festival is another must-see, taking place on April 11th and 12th. This will be a full celebration of Japanese culture, bringing Japanese cuisine, cultural exhibits, J-pop music, and martial arts and sumo wrestling with champion-level athletes right here in Washington, D.C. So enjoy all of that fun in D.C. while you can.
While you can, because I can tell you, Gelman is about to start getting pretty crowded.
Maybe not this year. People are studying outside.
Yeah, let's go with that. Studying. Yeah.
Oh, on that note, let's try and focus on studying more and tanning less for now. That way we don't have to double our caffeine intake by the end of the month.
I mean, says you. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna make a lot of you jealous. I have no finals. I'm out on the 24th flying back home. Not to brag or anything, but also not to brag about these shades we've been rocking, because right now, guys, we're gonna count down some spring essentials for you. Just some stuff that you should probably have on you while going outside as we get into this transition period between spring and summer. First and foremost being sunglasses. I love them a lot. I don't know, you like them?
They're a must. I think you need to protect your eyes from the UV these days.
Protect your eyes, yeah, but also some of us need to protect our noses out there. It's really easy to get sweaty, kind of ripe outside. So my personal favorite, fan favorite, I think, get some deodorant out, please. For the sake of you and everybody else, it really means the world.
It's a must. You got to keep that in your bag. And going off on that note, don't forget a water bottle. Stay hydrated, guys.
Now, I will say, this next one's a little more situational, but you never know when you're going to get caught in one of those spring showers, so always a good time for you to have an umbrella. Now, most of you know how an umbrella works, so we're not going to risk the bad luck by opening it inside, but if you have room in a bag, this is always a welcome addition.
Now, with the UVs high, don't forget some sunscreen. That's a must.
Gotta get some sunscreen, protect yourself, and with that, I think that wraps up our list. Thanks, everyone, for checking us out. Appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have an amazing and relaxing summer break.
Back to you, Avanti and Brady. What do you think of our list? How'd it go? What do we got?
I love the list. I must say, I love the shades. You guys are rocking those sunglasses. Love it.
I wish I brought mine.
Hey, you know, I'm sorry. We sent a thing. Y'all could have worn them, but you just decided you didn't want to hang with us.
Memo.
We missed the memo.
Yeah. Missed the memo. It's so sad. But they are really helpful outside, especially like, I feel like DC is a very reflective city. You know what I mean? A lot of windows, lots of just everything that sort of irritates your eyes in the worst way possible. So
yeah.
I would add to the list maybe some popsicles, some snacks.
Oh.
I always like to have a good snack or a good ice popsicle outside. You know those ones with the juice at the bottom, you know, like that remind you as a kid?
Yeah, the water pop guys.
Yes, those are delicious.
Love to see the logistics of carrying one of those around, though. We'll see. I might have to grab them from one of those guys on the street.
Yeah.
But, hey, you know what? Whatever works, right?
Yes.
If I can make a contribution to this list, I always carry with me a handheld fan. Or even like, I know you can like buy those ones with batteries, like the automated ones or the little portable fans. I always think those are incredibly helpful to have. You never know if you're gonna get stuck in the metro. It's humid, you just need a little bit of breeze. You need to cool down for a little bit, so that's what I'm gonna say.
Really smart.
We missed that one, but appreciate you guys. Thanks.
Well, thank you guys so much. Amazing. Okay. In a tight prime ministerial election in Hungary, incumbent and right-wing populist Viktor Orbán is trailing in the polls. Orbán has led the country since 2010 and has made a name for himself by dismantling democratic safeguards and allying himself with controversial Russian leader Vladimir Putin. His opponent, Petr Magyar, opposes Orbán's hostility toward the European Union and said he would make Hungary, quote, peaceful, humane, and functioning, end quote. On Tuesday, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance traveled to Hungary in an attempt to boost Orbán's popularity, but it remains to be seen how effective the U.S.'s help will be.
GW announced on March 27th that there will be a tuition rate increase of 3% for the 2026 to 2027 school year, making tuition $69,780 per academic year to $72,000 per academic year, according to the announcement the university made on March 27th. GW also announced that at the beginning of the incoming class of 2030, all third-year students will be required to live in on-campus housing. Since 2023, the requirement has been dropped as many students struggle to obtain housing. Students now can decide to live in on-campus housing or live off-campus. The university said GW's residency requirement is intended to foster community development and best support the undergraduate experience.
And that's all we have for you this episode. For GWN, I'm Avanti Patwardhan.
And I'm Brady Wilson. Thank you all for a fantastic year of GWN.
We're already looking forward to next year. But until then, have a fantastic summer, GW. Awesome. Look at us.
Yeah.